Star Scavenger. Episode 3. The Edge of the Black. The stargazer drifted in the profound silence between stars, a wounded bird trailing a faint mist of crystallized coolant. The emergency jump from Kylan Prime had been too much for its aged systems. A conduit had burst, the hyperdrive was spooling down with alarming error codes, and life support was operating at a precarious 60%. Marco floated in the zero-G of the darkened cockpit, the only light coming from the red and amber warning glyphs painting his face in grim relief. He was adrift, not just in space, but in purpose. The image of old Eli, sacrificing himself without a second thought, played on a loop in his mind. Trust no one. The data chip Eli had given him contained coordinates for a remote system simply labeled the Shallows, a supposed graveyard of ancient pre-Terran ships, a good place to hide and maybe to scavenge the parts he needed to survive. But it was weeks away at sublight speeds, weeks he didn't have. The artifact, the archive, was strapped to a console with a cargo strap. It remained as silent and enigmatic as the void outside. He'd stopped trying to talk to it. Now he just glared at it, a knot of resentment in his chest. "This is your fault," he whispered into the cold air, his breath pluming. "You dragged me into this, got that old man killed, for what? So I can die slowly out here?" There was no answer. There was only the steady, mocking beep of the low oxygen alarm. For 2 days he worked. He patched the coolant leak with sealant foam and prayer. He rerouted power from non-essential systems, plunging the ship into a deeper cold, sacrificing comfort for a few more precious hours of air. He was a scavenger. Making broken things work was his only skill, but this was different. This was a losing battle. On the third day, as he was trying to jerry-rig a carbon scrubber, a wave of dizziness hit him. He fumbled a tool and it spun lazily away into the darkness. Hypoxia. The clock was running out. Desperate, he pushed off towards the cockpit, his movements sluggish. Maybe he could send a distress signal. It would be a beacon for the Devourers, a swift end instead of a slow one, but at least it would be a choice. As he reached for the comm panel, his hand brushed against the artifact. It flared. A jolt, not of electricity, but of pure geometric certainty, shot up his arm. His vision whited out. When it cleared, he wasn't seeing the dying cockpit anymore. In his mind's eye, he saw a schematic of the Stargazer, but not as he knew it. It was a fluid, evolving blueprint. He saw the hyperdrive, not as a broken machine, but as a pattern of energy flows, and he saw the break in the pattern, a tangled, corrupted knot. More than that, he saw the solution. It wasn't a part he needed to replace, it was a resonance frequency. The main FTL coil was misaligned by a microscopic degree, a tolerance so fine no human scanner would ever flag it. The constant stress of the emergency jump had exacerbated the flaw, creating a cascading failure. The knowledge was just there, fully formed, as if he'd been a starship engineer his entire life. He didn't question it. He didn't have the time or the oxygen to spare. He moved on autopilot, pulling himself into the cramped access bay behind the drive. Using a laser calibrator, he painstakingly adjusted the alignment of the primary coil, following the ghostly instructions in his head. It was a 1 in a million fix, an act of impossible precision. He closed the panel, floated back to the cockpit, and with a trembling hand initiated the hyperdrive diagnostic. The console chimed. A green status light illuminated next to the FTL icon. Systems, nominal. A sob of relief and sheer disbelief escaped Marco's lips. He slammed his fist on the main thruster control, and the Stargazer surged forward, the sudden acceleration pressing him into his seat. He pointed the ship towards the coordinates for the Shallows and without hesitation engaged the hyperdrive. The stars stretched. The ship held. He was safe. For now. He looked over at the artifact. It had gone dark again, but the connection felt different. It wasn't a passive stone, it was a tool, a teacher, a terrifying alien mentor that communicated in sudden, blinding revelations. It had saved him, but it had also shown him the depth of his dependence. He wasn't just carrying a secret, he was fused to it. The knowledge it offered wasn't just in his head, it was rewiring his very understanding of the universe. As the stargazer flew on, Marco made a decision. He wouldn't just run and hide. He couldn't. The archive was a burden, but it was also power. The power to fix his ship. The power, perhaps, to understand his enemies. The power to fight back. He was no longer just Marco the Scavenger, or even Marco the Custodian. He was becoming something else, something the Devourers, in all their fanatical zeal to erase knowledge, could never have anticipated. He was becoming a problem. To be continued in Episode 4, The Graveyard of Giants.